unloading. Broken, your servant I need. Will you give it to me? It seems what's left of my human side is slowly changing in me. Will you give it to me? Looking at my own reflection, when suddenly it changes, violently it changes. Oh no, there is no turning back now. You've woken up the demon. Yeah. Is rising. Don't try to deny what you feel. Will you give it to me? It seems that all that was good has died and is decaying in me. Will you give it to me? It seems you're having some trouble in dealing with these changes, living with these changes. Oh, now the world is a scary place now that you've woken up the demon.
Master Yoda I am. And listen you must to Whoobazoo.com.
Clark, what are you doing?
Just relax, Ellen.
This is so dangerous. We have no business being in an area like this.
Well, look at it this way, honey. This is a part of America we never get to see.
That's good.
No, that's bad. I mean, we can't close our eyes to the plight of the cities. Kids, you noticing all this plight? This will just make us appreciate what we have. Roll them up.
The booth. I share my world when in the booth. The booth. This is all I do when in the booth. The booth. A set of headphones, one microphone. Hey yo, hold the phone, I'm in the booth. The booth. I share my world when in the booth. The booth. This is all I do when in the booth. The booth. I got one microphone, flow glitz in the zone. Yeah, I ain't to load me up, lock me in. I don't care, box me in, cause the booth got me in this brand new zone. Plug me in, turn it up, blitz gon' burn it up. Might start melting down the soundproof phone. It's one way, so it's one mode. Booth on the bus whenever I'm on the road. Lock in for days and anything goes. It's been 7 days, the same clothes. Still flowing for them dudes sitting outside on the blocks in the booth, but I'm spitting outside of the box. I know where the digits at, where the lyrics at. I ain't never losing, so I ain't gotta get it back. Got commercial music, but I still know how to spit a rap. I'm like the trees on my boots, I grew from the roots. If I'm lying, I'm flying, but I'm the truth. Only one way, my mobile or roam. I'm underground in the booth. The booth. I share my world when in the booth. The booth. This is all I do when in the booth. The booth. I got a set of headphones and one microphone. And yo, hold the phone, I'm in the booth. The booth. I share my world when in the booth. The booth. This is all I
African?
African.
No. He was American, and he was like you.
All right, it's your boy, Sinister One, broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are listening to The Booth, and it is March 17th, and we are going out live over Facebook, and we're going out live over IG, and got a lot of stuff to talk about. Got a lot of people here hanging out with us tonight, and, coronavirus is the talk of the day. It's been the talk of the last couple of months. But if you want to get in on the conversation live, you can call into the show at 508-251-5722 or join us in the live chat on Facebook. We've got a lot of topics tonight that we are going to talk about. So let me just get this back in here. And go, because it's been a while. It's been a little bit of hiatus. My IG pause. That was pretty kind of weird. I don't know why that happened, but we're back here in the booth, and just make sure everything's okay, because it's been a while since I've been on the air, so I make sure everything's good, everything's going well. I see Buzzy76 in the Instagram chat. I see, let's see here. I see Viana Marie, Deadwoodle1, Buzzy76. What's up, guys, for joining us in the chat? Facebook chat, I'm not seeing right now because I'm actually on Skype on my thing and IG. So what I'm going to do is I want to get right into my topics of what I've got going on tonight. And let's see here. I'm going to pull this up. Tom Brady is the big news right now. Tom Brady, who I had assumed... This was my assumption. I had assumed Tom Brady was going to stay here. And there was a lot of reasons why I had assumed that Tom Brady was going to stay here was because there really wasn't any other teams that fit what Tom Brady's criteria was looking for. You know, he had been telling everybody that, you know, he's got 2 years left. He's going to go at 45. He was going to be that guy that was going to, you know, stay here and do what he needed to do to get another title for these last 2 years. So, you know, when all this talk was out there and going around about, you know, Tom Brady being this and Tom Brady being that, I was like, really? You think Tom Brady's really going to some of these teams? Ryan Tannehill was over there at Tennessee Titans, did a good job, got them all the way to the AFC Championship game. They did lose. My feeling was why would they get rid of Ryan Tannehill? You know, they were comfortable with him. I couldn't see it, even though they would, you know, there was that whole incident with Brady and Edelman at the game, and they were talking to Mike Vrabel. You know, I felt he's not going to Tennessee. The other rumor was that he may go to the Niners. That was the one that I really kind of thought may happen, only because he was a Tom Brady was a Joe Montana fan. He grew up watching him. You know, his dream was to play for the Niners, and, you know, Garoppolo ended up out there, and it seemed like it would be a win-win for everybody involved. He would get out there, go and play for his team that he dreamed about playing for, and it didn't happen that way. Yeah, they're going to stick with Garoppolo, so Brady didn't end up there. Raiders, I didn't foresee him going to the Raiders at all. They're nowhere even near a Super Bowl in the next 2 years. The big debate is Tampa Bay. Some people say Tampa Bay is stacked on offense. It's Jameis Winston. That's the problem there. So they're saying that, you know, Tom Brady may just work out there. I don't know. Will Tom Brady work out there? I don't know. Let's see. Because the rumors are that's where he's going. I've actually got my phone all set up just waiting to see if that is going to happen with Tom Brady or not. So we'll see. We're going to find out, check this out, and keep it here. Because if it happens while we're on air, you know I'm definitely going to be the one to break this. So let me just get back on here. The other thing that they were talking about was Chicago. I didn't see him going to Chicago. Chicago looks like that they're going to get Phillip Rivers, maybe. It looks like that he's going to go there. Marcus Mariota went to, I believe, the Raiders. So what's up, Cliz? Cliz C just joined on Instagram. What's up, man? I see you out there peeping the show, doing what you got to do. Everybody else out there, if you're in the chat, let me know what you got going on, because it's just pretty, like I said, we've been locked down, some of us, for this coronavirus. We've been stuck here for last couple of days. I think they announced school was closed as of Thursday, as of last week or something like that. Thursday, I think it was like Thursday of last week, school was closed. And we were kind of like, okay, what do we do? It was only going to be closed till, Monday. And then while the kids are on, their time off for the weekend, and then they extended for 2 weeks. And then, the state comes out and now they've extended it to even a longer period. So now we're really dying to see what's going to happen here with the schools. Some schools, they're already talking about shutting the schools down for possibly the rest of the school year. In other words, anybody who's a senior or something, they're going to graduate. Hopefully they have enough credits, and they'll be able to graduate. We'll see. It's a real tough situation right now. And my heart goes out to those guys. It's like the NCAA. The NCAA canceled their Sweet 16 tournament. They also canceled the rest of the season. The rest of the NBA season, postponed that. NFL postponed. But you have to think about this. When they first talked about the NCAA, they were going to just play the games without fans in the stands, which was kind of crazy, because if you think about it, if you really think about this, you take the Sweet 16, which is a major, major tournament, and don't get me wrong, I believe that fans do play a part. That's what it's all about, the home team and all that stuff. But I gotta say, look, NCAA without fans in the stands, that wasn't going to be a good look. In my opinion, you were going to have a lot of teams that were going to make it, Cinderella teams that were going to make it to, that final dance. Because why? Because you know how it happens. Sometimes you have these close games in the Sweet 16, these close tournaments, but sometimes because that school is more popular, so that building is packed with more of their fans, sometimes those fans can give these teams an extra push in those final seconds, in the fourth quarter to, that second half, to push them to where they need to be. So when you bring that aspect in of no fans, then you think about it and you say, wow, this is a tough situation. What's going to happen here? So, you got to look at that and see what's going to happen there. I think that's probably one of the reasons why they canceled. But now that you see all these players in the NBA who are popping up testing positive, now you realize, well, hey, maybe they did the right thing. Maybe there's a lot more people out there that are positive than we realize with this coronavirus. And, it's really turned the world, to say upside down for the most part. And I got to say, I got some people here in the chat here. So hello, people in the Facebook live chat who's watching the show. And we're going to see what's going on there. Good stuff. All right, well, I'm back. Clear C. So let's get on to Tom Brady. I actually got some music here for Tom Brady. Then we're going to break into the coronavirus, because I want to read what was said about Tom Brady here and what Tom Brady wrote. This is, because a lot of fans right now, what's bothering me about Tom Brady right now are the fans who are, they're talking about how he's turned his back on the team and all this stuff. And you know what? Let me get this music. Let me read what Tom Brady wrote, and then I'll read the quotes from Belichick, and I'll read the quotes from Bob Kraft. So let's get this music here going. Kind of set the mood, kind of set the background here on what's going on here with Tom Brady. And, this came out today. It was around lunchtime. I was actually just about ready to sit down and eat lunch, and Tom Brady actually released this over social media, which was pretty funny because he has the same guy that oversees LeBron James, and we all know what happened with LeBron James. So let me read what Tom Brady put out on social media. Tom Brady said, "To all my teammates, coaches, executives, and staff, Coach Belichick still respects his coach, his head coach, calls him Coach Belichick, RKK, Robert Kraft, and the Kraft family, and the entire organization. I want to say thank you for the past 20 years of my life and the daily commitment to winning and creating a winning culture built on great values. Can't deny that. I am grateful for all that you have taught me. I've learned from everyone. You have all allowed me to maximize my potential, and that is all a player can ever hope for. Everything we have accomplished brings me great joy, and the lessons I have learned will carry on with me forever. I couldn't be the man I am today without the relationships you have allowed me to build with you. I have benefited from all you have given me. I cherished every opportunity I had to be part of our team, and I love you all for that. Our team has always set a great standard in pro sports, and I know it will continue to do just that." And he's damn right. They did set the standard for 20 years in this organization to where most of these teams are now copycatting the Patriot way, the way the Patriots have done business. It continues on. Tom Brady says, "Although my football journey will take place elsewhere, I appreciate everything that we have achieved, and I'm grateful for our incredible team," and he puts the team in capital letters, "accomplishments. I've been privileged to have had the opportunity to know each and every one of you and to have memories we have created together." 6 Super Bowl rings, people. Tom Brady, the GOAT, is he going to ruin his career by going somewhere like Tampa Bay, in the NFC and ruin his, and tarnish his image like Michael Jordan and Joe Namath and some of these other guys, Brett Favre? Some would say that they stayed too long. Peyton Manning. We'll see. It's a tough one because when you talk about the business aspect, it's a business. NFL is a business, and we all knew this day was coming, whether he retired or whether he went to another team. So let me get in here. I want to get in here and let's tell you what Bill Belichick had to say. Patriots. Bill Belichick had to say this on Tom Brady. Tom was not just a player who was bought into our program. He was one of its original creators. Tom lived and perpetuated our culture. On a daily basis, he was a tone setter, a bar raiser. He won championships in 3 of his first 4 years on the field, and in 3 of his final 6 seasons with us, while competing for championships in almost every season in between. It's a credit to Tom's consistency and what separates him. He didn't just perform, he didn't just win, he won championships over and over again. Tom and I will always have a great relationship built on love, admiration, respect, and appreciation. Tom's success as a player and his character as a person are exceptional. Nothing about the end of Tom Patriot's career changes how unfathomably spectacular it was. With his relentless competitiveness and longevity, he earned everyone's adoration and will be celebrated forever. Damn right. It has been a privilege to coach Tom Brady for 20 years. This is Bill Belichick. Examples of Tom's greatness are limitless, going back and forth even before he was drafted. We witnessed how prepared he was when he wasn't playing, how he performed when he got his opportunity, what he did to continuously prove his leadership, his mindset, the example he set, and of course the person he is. I'm extremely grateful for what he did for our team and for me personally. Sometimes in life, it takes some time to pass before truly appreciating something or someone, but that has not been the case with Tom. He's a special person and the greatest quarterback of all time. Now that's coming from Belichick, who people say that this relationship was strained, they didn't get along, whatever, but these are great words from Bill Belichick. It's like being at work. Sometimes you don't get along with your coworkers. Sometimes you have disagreements, but sometimes you do have that mutual respect for one another. And that is something that we all look for. What's up, Markova? Dana, what's up, man? How's it going? Let's get in here. I want to let you guys know what Robert Kraft had to say. How do I possibly sum up the depth of my gratitude to Tom Brady for what he's given us these past 20 years, or the sadness I feel knowing it's ending? I love Tom like a son, and I always will. He has brought so much happiness to me personally and to all our fans. I had hoped this day would never come. you got to look at it from Bob Kraft. This is a guy from the beginning of him taking over the franchise. You see what I'm saying? So it really has to hit Bob pretty hard. And we'll see what happens there. He says, I hope this day would never come, but rather that Tom would end his remarkable career in a Patriots uniform after yet another Super Bowl championship. Unfortunately, the two sides were unable to reach an agreement to allow that dream to become a reality. While sad today, the overwhelming feeling I have is appreciation for his countless contributions to our team and community. When Tom arrived in New England as an unheralded 6th-round pick, no one could have imagined the fairy tale story that would be written, the records that would be broken, or the joy he would bring to an entire region. He leaves 20 years later as the winningest quarterback in NFL history with 6 Super Bowl victories, 9 AFC titles, 17 division championships. He has been an exemplary teammate and leader. There simply will never be another Tom Brady. I now look forward to the day we can bring him back home to New England to celebrate his Patriots career, his endless achievements, and his legacy as the greatest of all time. I love him very much. Nothing but respect. You're going to see a lot of players probably come out and say the same thing. And it's a tough one. It's a tough swallow for us as we see this happen with Tom Brady. But we kind of knew this was coming. We kind of saw this, and let me just switch this over. We kind of knew this was coming as we saw these things as time went on during the offseason. And, once again, the Patriots have dominated the offseason with this discussion, this conversation. So I'm waiting to see where they're going to go. Because if Tom Brady is true, and let's just think about this. If he doesn't find a landing place for him and the demands he has, he could very well end up back here and with his tail between his legs and, doing the last 2 years here. That could happen. I don't foresee it. I think some team is going to pay out the yin-yang for him. And like I said, I've got my phone watching. Tampa Bay is supposedly in the running for this. But I don't think he wants to be in Tampa Bay. If he wanted to go anywhere, he wanted to be out west, closer to home. And we'll see. I don't think he wanted to be in Tampa Bay. And that's really looks like the only place that he's going to probably end up being. And we'll see. What do you guys think? Drop it in the chat. Let me know how you feel. I know a lot of people are mad. Some people are talking about burning jerseys and things like that. Come on, you don't have to go that extreme. Yo, he gave us 20 years. 20 years he gave us. And he gave us a lot of good memories. There's no reason to start burning jerseys and damning his name. Because that's not the way he should be remembered. This guy bled for this team. I remember when he came in this team, after Bledsoe got hurt, as a season ticket holder. And, it was like, oh, who's this kid? They drafted him 199 and he's now got this company that's named, 199 and with the Russo brothers that, this is a big project. He to be honest, he may turn around and just retire. He may sit back, cause like he said, just about a month or so ago, he was saying to everybody that Kobe Bryant's death affected him in a way that he never thought would affect him. And we saw some changes about Brady after that. And one of the things that he, talked about was the fact that, Kobe was a guy who was spending time with his kids. He was going to his daughter's games. And I think Brady knew that football was taking him away from his kids. And, he was kind of thinking that. So you kind of wonder, is Brady going? He makes it sound like he's going to play football, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows where he goes? Like I said, the rumor right now is he's going to land in Tampa Bay. And if he does, hey, good luck. You're in the NFC. Great division. That's a good division, that NFC South with Tampa Bay. They're going to get a great treat with him taking on Drew Brees, twice a season. So we'll see what happens. The other thing is he's in the NFC with Tampa Bay. He's probably going to keep a lot of his fans from up here. If he goes to an NFC team, especially Tampa, there's already some Tampa Bay fans up here that are friends of Tampa Bay, like a John, like my boy John. He's a big Tampa Bay fan. So we'll see. We'll have to root for him. But moving on. Got to get into this other national, local news talk, which is you really can't talk about anything else right now. It's the coronavirus. The coronavirus is right now 5,000 people have it in the United States. Let's see, as of January 21st on the CDC website, it was 3,487 as of January 21st, but now it's a confirmed 5,000 total cases. The White House, President Trump, he's kind of done a 180. I'm not going to lie. He's done kind of a 180. He's doing kind of the right things now, but you have to remember back on Super Bowl Sunday, this is a guy who on Super Bowl Sunday, he had said that, they locked this down. There is no coronavirus here, blah, blah, blah. And, we had to listen to this whole thing. And, there's a whole list, there's a whole timeline here that I could go through. Actually, I'm going to bring this stuff up, some of the things that he had said during his time. So, let's see. January 22nd, he had said, we have it totally under control. It's one person coming in from China. It's just going to be fine. But my big one was on Super Bowl Sunday when they gave him the numbers and told him how fast this was spreading in a 24-hour period. He did this interview before Super Bowl Sunday for 60 minutes. And, one of the major quotes he said was, we locked it down. He said, we pretty much shut it down from coming in from China. We're not going to have to worry about it, pretty much. And I remember going on Facebook and social media and telling people, this is not the thing to say. You have no idea if you've locked it down. You have no idea. This is a brand new virus. You have no idea how it works, how it attaches itself. They're talking about right now that they don't even know how this thing moves or does. They're just finding out stuff now that they didn't realize, and is part of the reason why we are having these tough situations, these tough things that are happening to all of us. I see John Jocelyn reply to your comment. John Jocelyn, you might as well come on IG Live and watch me over here. February 26th, the 15 case in the U.S. within a couple of days is going to be close to zero. That was what he said on February 26th. As we said, now we have 5,000 people in the U.S. with this. And there was many, many more, but I'm only pointing out the ones that he pretty much, kind of shot himself in the foot. And as things got more serious, you started to see his tone change. As we got deeper into March and more things were happening. Italy was locking themselves down after 16 million people were, it was just a crazy number. Let me pick out another one. March 6th. This was when the person died on the cruise ship, and 19 people, I believe it was, were diagnosed with positive, and they held the ship. And he said, I don't need to have the numbers double because of the ship that wasn't our fault. Really? Really? March 9th, blindsided the world. This blindsided the world. What do you mean it blindsided the world on March 9th when on February 2nd you said you locked it down? It wasn't coming here. You talked with Xi, the president of China. So, this is where he needs to fix this, and people are going back and forth, and they're like, well, they're throwing around the whole, the swine flu, the H1N1, all this stuff. When Obama was on, look, stop bringing that stuff up. Serious, stop bringing that up. That don't matter. We're in the now. We in the now. We're not last week. We're not in years ago. We're in the now. We want to know what's happening now. We want to know what's going to affect people in the future. We don't care about your opinion. When everybody was talking about, the flu is worse. Well, yeah, the flu is worse because the flu got a jump start on this. The flu started back in September. They were telling you to get your flu shots in June and July. People started getting the flu early September, just always when kids go back to school. So all those numbers that people are talking about and how it's done this, yeah, it's since September. But if you look at the projected numbers and how this multiplies and how many people die every 24 hours, how the numbers go up, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to let you know that we are on track to destroy those flu numbers. It's already surpassed SARS as of last Friday. So March 13th, this is where the 180 happens. To this point, because we've had a very strong border policy, we've had 40 deaths related. He's talking about the opening, closing the borders, shutting things down. And then on March 13th is when he came out later that day and he declared a national, emergency and says two very big words, national emergency. And, the reason why I was unhappy was he came out on Friday, March 13th, and, they did this whole thing with him and, he declared national emergency. But then the press, they start asking questions about, the past. And things, and then he brings up, what happened under when he goes into this whole previous administration. I hate that. I hate when he says stuff like that because I don't want to hear about that. We got people dying from this right now. We got people exposed and popping up positive right now. I don't want to hear about the previous administration. That's not going to help us. I want to know what we're doing now. So let's see what happens, and this guy Fauci, the CDC guy, he's making Trump look like a fool sometimes because he's getting up there and he's, contradicting some of the things that Trump has said because this guy doesn't want to have his ass on the flame. He's at the forefront of this. He's got to advise Pence what needs to be done because Pence has been appointed the head of this task force. He's got some very good people up there. A lot of people aren't happy about the fact that a lot of these big name companies and CEOs that we saw on stage on Friday are going to make a ton of money off of these kits and off of all the things that they have to do in these stores. But they're going to get filthy rich. But the stock market is still tanking. I think it was down 2,000 points yesterday, and then they shut it down. But we'll see. Let's see here. So nationwide, like I said, the numbers, it's 5,000 people. But here in Mass, in just a week, the numbers have significantly jumped. We actually have 3 confirmed cases in Plymouth County. So that would involve the Brockton area. We have 83 from the Middlesex County. Now, the reason why 83 is such a big number, because that's where most of those people were, where they had the Biogen convention where the doctor went after being told not to go out and go anywhere, and he went. So most of those people were exposed. So that's why that number is so big. The second 2 biggest numbers are the Norfolk County and the Suffolk County. Again, out in those areas where that Biogen. Barnstable County has 1. The Berkshires have 11. Bristol is 2. Essex County has 8. Hampton County is 1. As I said, 3 in the Plymouth, 6 in the Worcester, 10 unknown. 93 females, 104 males. This is just Massachusetts statistics right now, people. How many of those were connected to the Biogen and household contacts? 100 people. So 100 people out of that number were in contact with those who were at the Biogen event. Local transmission 28, travel related. This is anybody who had went out of the country and came back. 18, under investigation 51, which means they don't know how they contracted. 14 were hospitalized. 123 were not hospitalized, which means they were self-quarantined. They're in their homes. And 60 were under investigation. Now, a scary thing that they were talking about, too, was the first reported positive case here in Massachusetts was the MIT student. The MIT student is actually still locked down. And the reason why is because he hasn't tested with 2 negatives yet. You have to test 2 negatives in a row in order to be cleared and be able to go back into society. So the question here is that going to happen with him soon? I'm pretty sure we're going to hear that. Hopefully we hear that from him. I mean, this kid's been locked up for much longer than 14 days. This kid's been locked up for probably, I want to say this kid's probably been locked up for, I think we're hitting into like 2 months now, 2.5 months with this kid. So we'll see. lab testing summary. This is kind of a good number to have. So at the laboratory that's doing these tests, 1092 patients, total of those tested is 181 positive. So that's roughly 10%, a little over 10% has tested positive. The two companies that are doing these tests right now are LabCorp and Quest Diagnostics. A lot of people know who Quest Diagnostics is because Quest Diagnostics does a lot of the, the pre-employment screenings, the pre-employment drug testings and things like that. They've also landed the national kind of contract, so to say, to handle this whole thing nationwide. The rumor is right now is that the National Guard is going to be called in, and the National Guard will be handling the setup points and where people will go to get their test. Now, if I'm pretty sure they said it's similar to the flu test or the flu thing that they do. If it is, it's pretty nasty because I had that flu test. That's where they stick that swab like all the way up into the bridge of your nose. It hurts. And then to make matters worse, after you're trying to recover from having that swab stuck up your nose, then they got to swab the back of your throat and they got to go all the way back. And it's just horrible. It's just really, really, really horrible. So, that's a part of Trump troubles. There's some things here on the White House website that let you know to, if you feel sick, stay home. And if you need to follow the directions of your local and state authorities. I know a lot of people were upset here because, originally it was a 500 person ban. Couldn't have nobody around at these events, and people were pissed. And the whole thing is you guys didn't follow the rules. You promoters, you bar owners, you nightclub owners, y'all didn't you didn't follow the rules. Governor Baker and Marty Walsh gave you guys a chance. He said, look, we don't want anything over 200 and something people, 500 and something people. We want to lock this down. Keep it quiet for the weekend. Just sit back and kind of relax. Don't let this go down. And, what happened? What happened? The nightclubs were packed on Saturday. Everybody was going crazy trying to get into the clubs, and there's lines outside when there's not supposed to be. So what happens Sunday morning? What happens? Governor Baker comes out Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, shuts it down. Bans all activities, all events, because y'all don't know how to act. Y'all don't know how to do it the right way. What are you supposed to do? Jesus, I just don't get it. So, hold on here. It just bothers me that people can't do what they're supposed to do. And that's one of the reasons why we're in the situation that we're in. One of the other things, too, is if your children are sick, you got to keep them at home. Schools are closed, so now it's keeping them inside. But I know our mayor here, Mayor Robert Sullivan, he wasn't too happy at the fact, and he was on his press conference. He was talking about the fact that he drove by, I forget what playground, Edgar's Playground. Drove by Edgar's Playground, said he saw about 50 kids outside in the playground because there's no school. So parents are just, some of these parents are just putting their kids outside. Oh, no school. Put my kids outside. Put them in the playground with 50 other kids. 50 kids that you have no idea if they're positive. 50 kids who wipe their noses with their arms and the sleeves of their jackets, and they're climbing all over the jungle gym. All them germs. Think about that, parents. Because right now, it spreads from droplets and all that stuff. People will say, oh, you're fear-mongering. No, we're not fear-mongering. This is just the truth. This is the honest truth. You don't know who is positive. And people will say, well, it's not that bad. Well, it is that bad. Think about it. It's a 10-day incubation period. 10 days. 10 days. It's 2 weeks. So say like if you commute on the MBTA train, 2 weeks. Think about how many people you come in contact with in those 10 days on the train. You yourself as a person, think about it. How many people you come in contact with on that train? And some of those people are the same people that you see every day for those 10 days. So the chances of transmitting something to them that you don't know you have, or they don't know you have, or they don't know what they have, where's your chances go? I'd say chances are up here higher because you guys mostly meet on the platform. Y'all sit together. Y'all talk together. You know, you're in vicinity of people. Think about it. Do that math. The math is there for everybody to know and watch and figure this out. It's not rocket science. Older people definitely got to stay home, stay away from other people. I see Stop and Shop, Market Basket, and some of these other supermarkets are going to allow elderly people to come to their stores early for a 2-hour period so they can do their food shopping. Hopefully the rest of you knuckleheads out there will respect these hours and allow these people to shop safely, because we don't want them sick. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there, I'm healthy. I'm good. Hey, dumbass. You may be healthy and you may be good, but when you're sitting on that bus or that train and the person next to you has positive corona and they're sneezing all over everything, and then you brush up against that grab rail or you brush up against their seat where they just sniffed and coughed, guess what? You got that corona virus on your clothes. And I can talk about this because my career outside of this is public transportation. I work at the airport. So now you go home and you bring that coronavirus home on your clothes. And if you commute, guess what? You now have it on your clothes, and anybody you bump, anybody you touch, or anybody you come is now put that coronavirus on there. You say, oh, it's not like that. Yes, it is like that. Because if you go on the CDC website and read about the clothing, you're going to have a whole different attitude about this whole virus, if you even just read the part about the clothing. Because on the CDC website, it tells you that if you think you have your clothes might be, contaminated with it, you're supposed to take those clothes, put them right in the washer, wash them in hot wash, and kill it. One of the things it tells you not to do, it tells you don't shake your clothes. Do you know why the CDC tells you not to shake your clothes? Because when you shake your clothes, you put all that coronavirus in the air for people to breathe in within there. That's why they're telling everybody 6 feet. Even though President Trump and everybody today was up on the stage, and none of them had the 6 feet social distancing. They were all huddled up together. So I don't know about that. It is some crazy stuff going on there. In regards to that, it just boggles my mind. I want to pull up my Facebook here because I got some things here else I wanted to talk about before I get into more of the Trump stuff. So let me get into the entertainment booth. I am now moving along here. It's 6:43, got about 15 minutes to go. Entertainment booth. Artists across the country are pulling together to help other artists whose shows are canceled nationwide, as we saw last night. We got to give a big shout out to Louis Bello and Lisa Bello, who threw a concert over Instagram where they were raising money through Venmo for artists. They were going to help out other artists who were feeling the pinch. I know the artist that I manage, Vianna Marie, automatically is feeling the pinch. Shows are canceled left and right. You can't promote. You can't do anything. Everybody's brand is taking a hit. Any momentum that you were building, and I can't lie, Vianna Marie is a great example of an artist who's getting hurt by this. Vianna Marie was building her momentum was crazy right now. Crazy. She was doing shows, 30, 35, 40 shows last year. Didn't she just sign with BMG Records? Was about to do a performance on a cruise ship to Bermuda and then perform in Bermuda, and now think about it. That's an artist. Most artists, that's their careers. So, for Louis Bello and Lisa Bello to do something like that and recognize those people, this is what we're talking about. This is what it's all about. Also, streaming subscriptions like Netflix, Hulu, and CBS All Access, boom. Money makers right now. Money makers. They're actually talking about Star Wars. They're talking about this Rise of Skywalker. They're talking about early release in that, as they just did with Frozen 2. Frozen 2 was released 3 months early on Disney Plus, which is probably driving a lot of parents crazy because kids are home and they probably watched Frozen 2 probably about 100 times right now. Boss Baby back in business. that hit the airwaves on Netflix also. But I'm just waiting for Disney Plus. Like I said, I'm waiting for them to announce Rise of Skywalker early, and we go from there. Also, movie theaters. This past weekend's movie theater totals dropped down to a 20-year low. And if you're wondering if it's going to drop this weekend, guess what? It ain't going to drop because most of the theaters are now closed. Regal Cinemas announced that they are closed till further notice. AMC is supposed to make a decision soon. So we're going to see pretty much all the cinemas closed. A lot of your movies have shut down, halted production. A lot of movies that were due to come out for your early summer blockbusters and things like that. Black Widow, pushed back release date. No Time to Die, James Bond, pushed back release date. Breaking news. The Panthers just signed Cam Newton. Hold on. Panthers just signed Cam Newton to a deal. Teddy Bridgewater to a deal. So that means Cam Newton is out. Rumors is he's coming here. Cam Newton. I don't want Cam Newton in New England. I would have rather Teddy Bridgewater to come here to New England. I feel Cam Newton is damaged goods. I feel like I just don't think he's that guy. Don't think he's that guy. No, I don't see it. Continue on with entertainment booth. We'll get into that into the sports. Entertainment booth. Continue. Promotional tours, as I said, filming and production tours. New projects are all halted on all films and TV shows. Definitely going to push back the fall season for all the fall news shows and things like that. Great thing for streaming shows because all these streaming shows, they film all their seasons in one big lump sum. So we've got a lot of binge watching that we can do on Netflix and all these other networks. A lot more sports stars and celebrities are coming up with positive test results. Idris Elba, positive. Tom Hanks and his wife, Rita Wilson, who are now recovering. A ton of NBA players are coming out now. Not just the two teams that were involved in when they shut the whole season down, but now we've got some 4 players from the New Jersey Nets are positive. Charles Barkley's positive. We've heard nothing here about the Boston Celtics, even though they did play the team where the first player was. So we'll see about that, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. One of the other things that's actually thriving right now, business-wise, is the gaming community, which I'm part of. Gaming community, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, Switch, all of these things right now are booming, and it's a great time to be a gamer. Why? Because one of these things is the E3 was canceled, and all this free stuff and DLC you're getting is big. So I'm having a great time. So, hey guys, real quick, if you're watching on Instagram Live, there's only 1 minute and 7 remaining, so this is going to stay going on Facebook. But I want to thank everybody who tuned in on Instagram Live, and we're going to try this again on Instagram Live, maybe next week. We'll see about that, though. Peace. And I didn't leave. I just shut down my Instagram Live, and now I'm pulling up my Facebook Live, see who's tuning in or watching the show tonight. It says Tuesday, March 17th, and got a little bit more things to talk about. Legal booth. What legal rights do you have during a mandatory curfew or shutdown, and what are the things you don't want to be doing? One of the things you don't want to be doing is not following the rules during the mandatory curfew, because one of the things about a mandatory curfew, shutdown, or state of emergency, things are now escalated to the federal level. In other words, when you commit a crime, it's going to be a federal offense. It's not your state offense or a city or whatever. It's a federal offense. Looting and all that stuff becomes a bigger crime. You're going to do hard time. It's not one of these things that you really want to be involved with. So people smarten up, use your heads during this time. And, like I said, there's a nasty rumor that, there might be martial law enacted later on. We don't know anything about that, but we do know that they are training police officers in case that this does happen. The rumor that I've heard is that if some of these cities and towns do have to instill martial law, it's going to be 2 officers per cruiser, mandatory 12-hour shifts, and there'll be no more pulling over cars for stops or anything like that, and they won't be able to answer any medical calls other than anything that would involve a CPR. It'll be interesting. Oh, breaking news. Tom Brady is expected to sign with the Buccaneers, barring anything unforeseen. That is the news that ESPN is releasing. Tom Brady is to sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you know he don't want to be there, people. Admit it. Tom Brady does not want to be in Tampa Bay. His wife doesn't want to be in Tampa Bay. I can tell you that right now. No way. This is something that's blown up in his face, and it's going to be the answer. It's going to be a question that's going to be asked. Did you really want to be here? If it's all about the money, if Tom Brady's about that money, then he's about that money. But is it to him for sticking it to the team because they didn't do business with him? Like they didn't like he was expecting them to do different business with him. And I'm spending a little bit too much time on Brady. Who knows? I don't know, but they've never made or bent over backwards for anybody when it's come to money. Nobody's ever held them hostage. But I'll tell you right now, I'm damn sure that this team should have done that for Tom Brady. I think they should have bent over backwards for all the times he took pay cuts and was throwing to people like Ray Shea Caldwell and making them look like superstars. Because there was a lot of wide receivers who were here. It was like Jordan. Jordan made all these players like a Tony Kukoc, and all these people looked great, but they sucked when they left the Chicago Bulls. And now it's the same thing with Brady. So we'll see. He's done. He's done. He's going to sign with Tampa Bay. And am I going to get a Tom Brady Tampa Bay jersey? Damn right. I'll get a Tom Brady Tampa Bay jersey because he's in the NFC, and I'll be cheering him on. So we'll go with that. Legal rights I mentioned already. President Trump's 17-day vacation in Trump Trouble Booth. Yes, Trump Trouble Booth is where we talk about Trump troubles. The 17-day vacation is irking a lot of people because he's, when he did his thing on Friday the 13th, he was actually on vacation down in Mar-a-Lago, I believe it was, and playing golf or doing whatever he does. But here's the thing, people. I don't think he was taking a 17-day vacation. I think President Trump is on a 14-day self-quarantine, and then they add the 3 days in there like Americans are stupid. Americans aren't stupid like that, people. The smart Americans know that this 17-day vacation that Trump has been on since Thursday of last week, after all the crap came down about him having contact with people who have now tested positive, don't play us. Look, I get it. You don't want people to panic. If you want to protect everybody and say, no, he doesn't have it, he doesn't have it. Okay? But don't lie to us and say he doesn't have it, or he was never in the threat, or he's not this. And then take a 17-day vacation and throw 3 extra days on the 14 to think we're all stupid. Come on. We're all smarter than that BS. Don't play that BS with us. A 17-day vacation is a cover-up for the obvious. And in my opinion is he's on self-quarantine. And that's the reason why it was no big deal for him to be up there today with everybody around him and not recognizing that 6 feet social, because why? Because they've all had contact with him. So that 6 feet is BS. So they can all be around him right now. So it's whatever it is. So we'll see. Like I said, things are getting really tough right now, and I pray for people at this time. But like I said, event reminders, everything is pretty much canceled, people. And every day it gets worse. More and more events are canceled. We were supposed to go to see Charlie Wilson this Friday night, and it ain't happening. Charlie Wilson is canceled. They'll have to probably book another date. A lot of things are being canceled all the way out to April. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully this is cleared up by August. There's a lot of great shows that were coming. Janet Jackson was due here, in April, I believe. You've got The Weeknd was due here July 4th. We'll see, we'll see. And, I don't know. Like I said, we talked about all these artists people, if you know any artists out there, musicians, or somebody who's out there who's, waitresses and waiters and things like that who are suffering, man, find something. If you can get them something to do or help out or whatever until they decide what they're going to do with people and get them paid, help them out in any way. Like I said, I use Viana Marie as a great example. Viana Marie is the best effing example right now of what some struggling artists who grind hard is going through. That momentum lost is a killer. And like I said, you got a lot of people, you got BMG, all these people who were grinding and getting these shows in and getting this momentum and building, and then bam, this coronavirus just came along and shut their momentum down. And who knows, for some of these artists, and I'm not jinxing my artists and I'm not jinxing BMG or anybody else, but they're not stupid and they're sitting back saying, shit, am I going to get that momentum back? Cause you got to think about it. In this business, in this industry, it's here today, gone tomorrow. Who's the next big thing? You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be, when this all comes out and everything comes back, we're all going to see this and we're all going to wonder where we're going to go with this. Because everybody's going to have to try to get back on track, not just in the music industry. We're talking about sports. I've got guys that I know who fight, who train MMA. And you know what? A lot of guys, we were heading into the beginning of the MMA season. April is when the first batch of fights for the year begin for mostly all of your events. You all saw Dana White. Dana White was like, I'm not having any fight. I'm not canceling any fights. And it was pretty silly to hear Dana White say it, because it was like, Dana, you have no control over that. It's like Vince McMahon saying that he's still gonna have WrestleMania in April and in Tampa Bay, and they're saying no. If we shut this shit down, you don't have no WrestleMania. So now WrestleMania is gonna happen just where you saw it on Friday night. It's gonna happen in the Performance Center in front of nobody, and that is gonna be awkward to see the biggest wrestling event on television at the WWE Performance Center. And here's the thing. You can't get away with charging $70 for a WrestleMania pay-per-view that's going to be held in an empty building with no fans. For me, Vince is going to turn around. If you want success, make it free. Just make WrestleMania free for everyone. Just make the shit free. There's no reason for you can't charge pay-per-view. Now, Dana White, he's already canceled the next 3 UFC events. So imagine being an MMA fighter who trains every day, eats right every day. Your fight is coming up in 2 weeks. Some of these fighters were fighting this weekend, and the fights are canceled. You put your life on the sideline. Some of these people are parents. Some of these fighters got kids. It's kind of a suck way to be forced into spending time with your kids, And I'll tell you, a lot of people are going to appreciate this time with each other, being together. You're going to realize it, that you're going to appreciate this time, because it's going to be long. And for some parents, it's going to be real long. I saw somebody from the school department, I think it was Brent Gormley, said it best. He said that some parents are going to realize how bad their kids really are being locked up with them for 14 days. We're going to see that. So, hey, I got to give a big shout out before we get out of here, because there's only about 1 minute left to the show. But I got a good friend, Kelsey, who I grew up with. Her son, Reese Marsaul, he is nominated. He's one of 18 who's nominated for the Dave Cowens Award, the basketball award for high school players. He's one of 18. He was actually supposed to go to the event. He got fitted for his tux. And the day he got fitted for his tux or his suit, everything was shut down. So he's not going to that. And again, that's somebody else who's affected. Think about it. Like I was talking about artists and MMA fighters. Think about the NCAA college basketball players who they are in their senior year or their junior year, and they're putting themselves eligible for the draft. And here we are with this coronavirus, and guess what? No go. You're stuck. You're celebrating your last year bunkered down because of the coronavirus. You don't get to play in the Sweet 16. Your value at the draft is going to suck.
because nobody has anything to kind of go by other than your stats for, the end of the season, which isn't even a completed season. So I don't know. Crazy stuff. But before we get out of here, say our goodbyes. I got to say goodbye to all the artists out there who are struggling and they're having a hard time. Look, people are going to look out for you. MMA fighters, all these people, waiters and waitresses, because all these restaurants are now drive-through. There's no in-house eating. So, who's the first staff that's going to be let go and has to collect unemployment? And even if you collect unemployment, if I'm not mistaken, unemployment does not figure in what you lose in tips. I think unemployment's like a base rate for waiters and waitresses, and I think so. If I'm wrong, please somebody correct me or something to drop in the chat. But it's going to be tough. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to try to get out of here. Say goodnight to everybody. I want to thank everybody for tuning in the show. And I'm going to ask SpongeBob to do me a favor. SpongeBob, bring us home.
Well, see you next Tuesday.
Thanks for tuning into the booth at Whoobazoo.com. Please make sure to tune in for more booth next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. New York Eastern Standard Time. Become a fan on their Facebook page and check out their podcast on iTunes and iHeartRadio. The Booth is a Sinista One production hosted by Sinista One, Ken Diesel, and R Squared.
I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Whoobazoo.com.
Well, see you next Tuesday.
Thanks for tuning into the booth at Whoobazoo.